Good afternoon. We are going to call to order the Friday, April 3rd meeting of the Kansas African American Affairs Commission. Executive Director Nell, can you do the roll call?
Okay, Commissioner Dr. Trent Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Crystal Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Jade Ramsdale,
Present.
and Chairperson Angelina Johnson.
Present as well. We will now move to the approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections or edits to the minutes? I do have one edit request. There is a section that notates that I said that our priority areas were business development and economic empowerment. I don't recall exactly how I worded that, but business development isn't one of our priority areas, but economic empowerment is. So if the business development part of that can be removed, that is my request. Are there any other edits, or is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Commissioner Trent Davis, I move we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are you ready for the question? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. We do not have anyone from the public present with us today, so we will move on to the chair's update. I do not have an update, so we move forward with the executive director's update.
I sent out the budget sheets to you. So that's the update on the budget. I haven't spent any money, so there's absolutely no change, but the budget date sheets have been sent out. The Kansas leadership, I do have an update on the Kansas leadership grant spots. As requested, I did reach out to some of the other organizations. Those organizations are listed in the agenda.
Tracy, before you go on with the other item, with the budget, maybe it's just my eyes. I'm not seeing where we were tracking separately the Kansas Health Foundation funds from the broad budget breakdown. Am I just missing it, or is it not captured? I want to say we were using a Excel spreadsheet previously.
Yeah. So I can send those out. I sent out the official Aptio from the state things, but yeah, I can send that out. Yes, I can send that out. I haven't spent any money. So then to the Kansas leadership grant spots.
No, can we go back? Can we go back? Because the budget was such a big conversation when we first came on, and I'm really trying to establish a consistency in the process to avoid that. So can we get clarity on what will be sent out on a consistent basis? I know the broad budget for the entire department is a part of it, but that's not dollars that we even have ability to maneuver or utilize. So the Kansas Health Foundation remaining funds is the one that really we have some input in. So I want to make sure there's a clear understanding and expectation on our part of what to expect each month as far as what will be provided.
Okay.
So for the Kansas Health Foundation funds, is it the spreadsheet that the Excel spreadsheet? Is that?
Nope, that's a different one. What do you see when I swing something in? What are you looking at right now on the screen?
An Excel spreadsheet.
Okay. So that's what it was last month, and that's what it is.
Okay. So I want to do a check-in with the commissioners because again, we spent a lot of time discussing the budget. Commissioner Davis, are you able to mute Commissioner Crystal Davis?
I know. So you got the gas in it.
Or who? I can't tell who's.
It's Commissioner Crystal Davis. Are you able to put her on mute?
There we go. There it is.
Okay. I did want to check in with the commissioners again to confirm what is it that we want to see. Again, there was a lot of conversation about the budget and about ensuring we were being clear and transparent and on a shared understanding of the budget. So what is the desire of the commissioners as far as what you all want to see on a consistent basis each month? Commissioner Trent Davis.
Thank you. I would say as simple as these two spreadsheets look, see both. I mean, there are two separate pots of money, and we do influence the current spreadsheet more than the other one. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, Executive Director, but this would be easy enough for us to get both. I think the policies we set in place wouldn't be more in line with the spreadsheet we're looking at now, as far as how we were going to spend money.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and is anybody else want to share anything? I'll say, again, just in pause, especially with the challenge that we discussed at a previous meeting of not having the number of members necessary to have our budgeting subcommittee. What we said is for our due diligence, we would review standard reports each month for our due diligence as a full commission. So again, I wanted to pause and ensure we have a clear shared understanding amongst staff and the commissioners about what to expect. And what I'm hearing and understanding is this Excel spreadsheet updated that's specific to the Kansas Health Foundation funds that are remaining. And then also the broad reports that are generated from the state system that speak to the broader budget. Okay, I see head nods of agreement. Okay. Okay, thank you, Stacey, for that pause. I'm comfortable with moving forward with that clarity and understanding.
I reached out to the groups that you indicated last time. They're listed in the agenda. And then I do have an update from the Kansas Health Foundation in terms of spots that have been used. 14 spots have been used so far in the first training and 9 in the second. So, but 21 people have access to the code. Some commissioners, some people who are outside of the thing. So I have paused giving out the code because 21 people have access to the code. 14 people have used it in some way, shape, or form. No, 19 people have used it in some way. No, 14. I have reached out to the people who have the code, but who have not registered to see if they plan on using the code. One person said, oh gosh, thank you, I will register. One person said, no, I actually will not use it. So I've been able to sort of reclaim that spot. And I have not heard back from the other people who I've reached out to say, hey, you have a code, but you haven't used a code. We have a wait list. And so if you are not going to use your code, can you please let me know? So I have paused handing out the code because currently there are more codes out than we have spots available. Also, in going to the Wednesday office hours and talking with the Kansas Leadership Center, the thing that becomes at play here is that if we go over our 20 allotted spots, they actually are going to invoice us for the tuition. So I've sort of paused handing out the code until I can verify whether or not people who have access to the code are actually going to use it. Are they going to use both spots? Are they only going to use one class? So I'm sort of massaging that out to find out who's using what codes, if indeed they are going to use the code. The last time I distributed the code was the 31st of March, right? And then that's when on that Wednesday, that's when I found out at the office hours that we get charged if we go over. And I was like, oh my goodness, hang on a second then. So right now I'm just waiting to hear back from people who have the code who may not have used the code. Like, for example, I know if I give the code on someone on a Tuesday, it doesn't mean they're going to sign up on Tuesday, right? To allow for a day or two to think it through and then to get back to us. But I have told people who are on the wait list that I would definitely know something. I told them May 15th, just to give people time to use the code and pick dates and know when they're going on vacation and all those various things. But like I mentioned, I already know what 2 people are doing. It's just the issue of tracking down the other 3. Or not tracking down, I know where they are. I've been in contact with the other 3.
So I want to make sure I'm clearly understanding the numbers. You said 19 total codes distributed. Is that accurate?
21 people have access to the code, including commissioners and
Okay,
people
so
who have.
theoretically,
Yes.
if everybody signs up for 2 sessions, that wipes out the 40 slots.
Theoretically, yes.
Is it possible? What is your gauge on the possibility of once we reach a certain point, making a request of KLC to cancel or change our code so that And also adding language in our communications that it's first come, first serve. And if slots aren't available by the time you sign up, it's first come, first serve to offer a public perception of in case someone does delay in their signing up and there are no more slots available, they've been forewarned that they once they receive the code, they need to register or be at risk of not having available slots. So there's two questions. One, can we add language in future correspondence that lets people know that it's a first come, first serve with the use of the code and they need to sign up or be at risk of possibly there no longer being slots available? And then question two is, do you think it would be problematic to, if we see ourselves coming close to our quota, because we don't want to have to pay, that we could ask KLC to terminate the code, stop the code, or are they more likely to not do that? Do you have a gauge?
Yes. So like I said, I've been in contact with everyone who I've given the code to, and people who have signed up, they've signed up. People who have not signed up, I've indicated to them that that's the situation and have explained, to them that this is what's going on. So everyone who has the code who has not signed up understands that. As people who have KLC, there is no way to automatically turn off the code. So it's up to me to pay attention to who has the code and to babysit the whole situation. KLC has indicated that if something happens and we wind up going 21 on something, they're not going to freak out on us. But it's this notion of if we just distribute the code widely and suddenly we're 10 over, then that's going to be a problem. So right now, as the grant administrator, I've taken upon myself to to stay in contact with everyone and to be in contact with everyone, whether people who are coming in after I've decided to not hand out the code because I'm watching the numbers, right? And so yeah, all of that you've said has been communicated to everyone who's been communicated to me, even as people who come up who are now contacting me. I state to them that it's first come, first serve. I tell them I make note of even down to what time their email comes to me. So and then the list is according.
How many do we have on the wait list?
4.
Okay. Checking in with my fellow commissioners. Are there any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Yes, it's excuse me, Commissioner Davis. And one of my concerns, and I thank you, Stacey, for clarifying that. One of my concerns is we've said on every flyer, first come, first serve. I know for a fact I have a colleague who is like chomping the bit to be able to attend the April session, and now she's on a waiting list. I don't know how the other 3 that are on the waiting list feel, but like if she would have got the code, she would have already been enrolled. So I don't know if it feels a bit unfair to me to have people on a wait list who would be enrolling right away when they got the code, waiting on other people who also understand it's first come, first serve, and they've not yet registered. So that's my concern with the waiting list. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Commissioner Davis. I'm going back to the flyer. If we've already communicated it's first come, first serve, and we have people on the wait list that are ready to register, and Stacey, I definitely understand and appreciate the hesitancy that we don't want to put the commission into debt to pay for something. So I appreciate the pause, but we have people on the wait list, and maybe if we can check in with those on the wait list to say if you're able to register within so many days or today or so many hours to allow them that opportunity. I know next week, I think either next week or the week after is going to be a session. And I know there's also a desire to want to get these out timely to give people opportunity to be able to have more opportunity to select their sessions. So is it possible for those on the wait list to be contacted to say if they are ready to sign up to give them that opportunity to do so?
Sure.
Okay. Any other thoughts or perspectives regarding the transformation grant opportunities?
Yes, this is Commissioner Davis again. And Executive Director. Now, I appreciate your work and the the wait list and watching all of the numbers, because I agree with everyone that we don't want to have to pay for anything else. And it's just, I guess, a good thing that, at least in my personal thought, originally it was like, wow, we have 40 slots to fill. And now it's like, ooh, we've already filled them. So in my mind, it's like I was thinking it would be maybe not difficult, but a challenge to fill for 40 slots. But now it appears that, we could have potentially filled them all and gone over, even at this very moment, that people are um, kind of I guess trickling in or deciding to trickle in. And I think we're all familiar with the concept of people registering for things, people saying, oh, yeah, sign me up for something, and then they don't attend. We've seen that before with KAAC and just other events. Like people want to register quickly and be a part, but then either they don't pay, they don't show up, but they've registered. So we know that happens with all organizations and events and activities. But I don't know. I think one more communication, at least in my mind, to those who have the code and have not done it yet, that they should get an email reminder, like you have so many days, because it's holding up slots for waitlist people that would be. So I don't think we need to let them hold on up to them until May 15th. That's 6 weeks away. I think they need an email to say you have until Monday or Tuesday, whatever day, but not many days, to either use the code or will be passed on to the next person who's waiting. That's just my, personal thoughts. Thank you.
Stacey, do you have thoughts or feedback to that
Nope,
consideration of
I
what?
can tell. No, I'll tell them they have until Monday or Tuesday. I guess it's Friday now. I can tell them they have until. When would you like for me to tell them they have until?
Um, 3 is oftentimes a magic number. Give them a 3-day window to respond, yay or nay.
3 business days or 3 calendar days?
You work on the weekends and responding to these things?
No.
Business days.
So you're talking about next Wednesday then?
It's Friday. Commissioner Davis, do you have a preference or perspective on the time frame? Calendar days are, again, I don't think this needs to be extremely complicated, but is there a preference or a perspective on how long, what days? Also be mindful that there is a session coming up very quickly.
Yeah, I guess my answer to that, or my thought, Chair Johnson, to that question is going to be, because I know someone who's on the wait list that will register like now. Like if I text her right now and said, you're going to get the code, register now, she would register for this coming week's one, April, in Wichita, and would be making her hotel arrangements and lodging. So I don't really know how to answer that, because I'm asking, I think, for one slot, like right now, and maybe the 3 business days. I mean, I see Commissioner Jade is saying 3 days as well. But I guess 3 days, but I'm also asking for one person on the wait list to be able to get the code today. So I'm not sure if that answers Chair Johnson, but that's my thought.
Okay. So I will share this. Thank you, Commissioner Ramsdale, for providing your perspective. This is a very simple resource to be able to offer and extend to the community that really should not be a really complicated process. We have the resource, we should be able to push it out to those who are interested in the resource. I understand policy, procedure, protocol, and standards and all those things that are absolutely important. I'm wondering if we are unnecessarily being extra punitive almost with how we may be approaching some of this. For example, if we know, if Commissioner Davis or any of us know there are people who want to sign up, will sign up, there are slots available, and if they sign up, they're not going to blow us out of our quota and require us to have a financial consequence. Can we just send them the link so they can sign up? For those then realize that this is a challenge for those that have already been communicated with and have the link, go ahead and have a communication out to them saying 3 days, 3 business days, as has been communicated by Commissioner Ramsdale. We really need
I
to
think,
know.
yeah, I think it is pretty simple. My only question was, do you want me to say that because I can send the email as soon as this meeting's over. All I'm asking you is, do you want it to say the 6th of April or do you want it to say the 8th? And like that's it. Because I can tell them and I can say exactly that. And I can just send the code to everybody who's on the wait list and say, please make sure that you register before. But is it the 6th of April or the 8th?
It would be the 8th
Okay,
business day since there is a preference identified by a commissioner.
there you go. Okay.
What day is the next class?
I think the next series are the April in-person opportunities in Wichita.
Is it next week or the following week?
Um,
I'm pulling up the
next,
website.
Oh, okay.
this next,
Everybody already knows. Any other questions or feedback for the KLC slots? Stacey, again, thank you for your work on getting these out. Okay. You want to continue with your updates?
Only that Mark McCormick has resigned. I sent everyone that email, so I just wanted to make note of it in the minutes or in the agenda that Mark has resigned. So we are down to 4 people. So if you know any friends that might want to apply for the commission, they can do so. We do have statutory obligations. Any new person who comes on, we are missing someone in Congressional District 3, and they could not be registered as a Democrat.
Stacey, how does this impact us as far as quorum and being able to handle the business of the commission, being that we're down?
As long as we have 4, we can make quorum.
So our quorum is 4, which is all current sitting meets quorum. Okay. Okay. We will move on to old business. And we will begin with updates to our upcoming town halls. And just to, again, set the context, we have been asked for all districts to host a town hall to connect with constituents and also to learn of priorities from the community. I did want to share an update, and Stacey, I think I sent it to you. Part of the conversation was about having a shared tool for the survey to capture feedback from the community and from these events and from the community in general. So Commissioner Davis and I have been working on finalizing the language in anticipation for her being first up to hosting. So that has been finalized. There is a QR code that can be shared to link to that survey. There is the actual words for a paper version as well to be available to us. And then there's, of course, the link that can be disseminated as well. So I wanted to share with the full commission that is now finalized, unless Stacey has something different to share. I'm trying to think that's been sent to you. Okay, so that has been finalized and will be available for us. First up, leading the way is Commissioner Crystal Davis with her upcoming event. Did you want to share some details, Commissioner Davis?
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Yes, the planning is underway, and we have secured the venue, the food, the question surveys. Thank you, Chair Johnson, for helping to, refine those questions. We have our guest speakers and spotlights also available. Executive Director Stacey Nell and I've also had some meetings and discussed things and ideas and working with the state on payments for the catering. So I think everything is, moving along smoothly, and I anticipate having the final run of show. I think early part of next week to get to Executive Director Nell for all of the printing needs for the town hall. There's various things that we will need to get printed. And my only other thing was to Commissioner Jay Ramsdale. I know we kind of kicked around the idea, and I think I mentioned it to Director Nell, that if you wanted, I know that you told us you wouldn't be available for work travel. And if there was something you wanted to submit in writing or in a video that you would want to say as a partner commissioner in District 2, I will be very excited to put that up on the screen and or read it or whatever you prefer. But we thought about, man, it'd be a great way to still have Jade's face, Commissioner Ramsdale, be seen and heard from at the district. So I just wanted to offer that to you as well. And I think that's it. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, Chair Johnson.
Thank you
Commissioner
much for that.
Ramsdale?
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, let me make sure that I can get something over to you in a timely manner. I'd love to send some words and some encouragement in support of this event, especially. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
And Commissioner Davis, I am excited that I will be able to attend as well. So I will be present. This will be my first visit to your neck of the state. So looking forward to being able to be there and support of your effort. I can share from District 4. I have a tentative date of Saturday, May 23rd, still trying to solidify some things. So it's tentative, but working to do what we have been asked of ensuring that there is a gathering during the spring prior to our change, well, prior to the end of our current commission year. Stacy, um, I don't know if you, I'll reach back out to you. Like I said, I'm trying to get some more things solidified. I hadn't shared that date yet, but we're looking at Saturday, May 23rd as a tentative. I'm not sure if you would be able or willing to travel down to Wichita for ours, but I'll be in touch with more details. Are there any other more questions regarding the town hall? Okay, I want to check in with Commissioner Trent Davis. Are you anticipating, is your District 2, 3, 1?
No, I thought I was one. I think I'm one.
Okay, I'm trying to
Commissioner.
remember
Okay.
numbers. Are you anticipating
But
being able to host an event this spring?
I definitely am. I was trying to coordinate with two other organizations and the not congressional, this constitutional amendment, try to do all in one. That timing may not work out for the folks who are working on education for the constitutional amendment. So yeah, June is a bad month. So I'm was good to hear May 23rd is out because it's already taken. Uh, I would normally be going for the third weekend of the month. Third weekend in June, unfortunately, is Juneteenth. People are around in that regard. It's good, but it's bad because a lot of people aren't around or they don't want to come to anything cultural, educational like this. Um, April would push us too soon. It's the date. I mean, I'm not wedded to the third weekend, but just trying to find a date. May is rough with graduations and schools, and just trying to find that perfect weekend. And the next weekend after 23rd is Memorial Day, I guess. Or no, that is Memorial Day weekend, isn't it? Memorial Day comes kind of
Memorial Day
early
weekend,
this
is
year.
that why it was early? It is Memorial Day
Right.
weekend.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, assuming you don't move it to the next, that first weekend in June may be my only options. I'll find out soon. Because
So,
summertime gets to be, I mean, people just don't show up.
and
So,
I'll
so
share, and thank you oh, go ahead, Commissioner Davis, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I'm basically done with anything that anybody needs to listen to, but that was this.
Um, and thank you that explains why that was a potentially available time is the holiday weekend, which was already tentative. So just a reminder to the commission, the intention with these was to be able to try to was the intention to have them in the spring, in advance of our final meeting of the year where we would have elections and be preparing to shift, our agenda for the upcoming year. So ideally, we do want to have those not going into the summer, and possibly cutting into the summer schedule of what Stacy may have planned. I'm not sure if we want to do the brunches again this year or what might be planned for a summer schedule. But for these conversations, we were hoping to have them completed prior to our June meeting. So Commissioner Davis and I, Trent Davis, we we both have some work to do to try to see if we can make that happen. And then even so, we may be able to host on the same day. Stacey, I don't know if you are planning to be physically at all of them. That's your desire. If you were planning to be physically in Wichita, but we might not be prohibited from hosting on the same day. I'm not sure. Stacey, do you have any feedback on that?
Generally speaking, I was going to plan to be at all of them, but if it comes out that it's on the same day, it's the same day.
So I'll continue to see what I can get scheduled prior to June. And Commissioner Davis, if you can let us know, Trent Davis, when you're able to schedule something ideally prior to June was the objective that we had.
Sounds good.
Okay, continue business. We do have the proposal that was submitted to us by Mr. Lazone Grays, submitted and presented for a couple of meetings. That information was shared with the full commission for review. I want to open up the conversation for thoughts and feedback on what Lazone, Mr. Grays has proposed for the commission to adopt as one of our initiatives. Does anyone have any feedback?
This is Commissioner Crystal Davis, and I got a chance to read the proposal, and of course, him attending the meeting. What stands out to me just initially, and I can go back to my notes that I taken, but initially, top of mind is it's a big ask. I'm not really sure even we would um, could or have the bandwidth to handle many parts and pieces of that like entire project, and specifically the fiduciary piece is what concerns me, being that we are here with the state, and I think that would be a lot of potential entanglement. Let me use that word. Could it be done? Yes. Do we have the bandwidth? And certainly now we've lost the commissioner. I would say no. Could we serve in an advisory capacity? Potentially, but I don't think that's what he's asking, right? I think he's asking, definitely for a bigger ask than us just serving kind of advisory. Um, but yeah, it's a huge project for us to undertake.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Trent Davis?
I think Dr. Crystal Davis summarized it very well. I won't try to sound any more eloquent. Uh, Handling what would be potentially a large amount of money uh, by a board that can rotate with at the whims of the legislature and the governor might be a little impractical. No, we might be the organization that could get meetings set up and get the ball rolling, but someone with the ability to handle money and make those decisions would have to be established. It's almost you want to call a bank and say, "Hey, would you sponsor this?" or some organization that has already enough money that it manages that this would not be a burden for them to run. I love the idea. Um, Anybody here own a bank or have a friend who owns a bank?
Um, Commissioner Ramsdale, did you have any perspective?
Yeah, so I echo the same sentiments. I think for the same reasons that our other commissioners have raised up, and then I'm also keeping in mind one of the bills that we had previously seen come through that could potentially be reintroduced and how that might impact the program down the road. Just wanting to make sure that it has a sustainable and well-rounded platform where it's got the support that it needs to be successful, and we wouldn't end up being introducing something that would have to go away very quickly that the community would be excited about. So just really considering what other avenues for sustainability would be the most supportive of this effort. It's obviously one that we are all very excited to hear for our community, but the means of going about it, I think we might need to go back to the drawing board to start as far as logistics are concerned.
So, thank you all for taking the time to really review and look through what has been proposed. Um, I want to say a thank you and an appreciation to Mr. Graves for even presenting this to us and sharing his possibility and seeing of the value of CAC, the potential value of CAC, and being able to advance what we have voted on as a priority for us, economic empowerment in this state. So I want to make sure that's acknowledged and called out for Mr. Graves' efforts to bring this to us. Um, in looking at it, have I appreciate the effort, and I would love for CAC to be positioned to be a strong advocate of producing a support, a resource to benefit members in the state. If we were able to create something like this and to serve in that capacity, if we were, how amazing would that be? I took some time just to look at how do different uh, commissions similar to ours across the nation, what do they do? How do they stand themselves up? How do they support and advocate for their community within their states? And I saw some amazing efforts and initiatives and projects that come out of commissions similar to ours in other states throughout the nation. Though I am in agreement with this specific ask, I don't think we are structured to lead in the way that we've been tasked or asked to lead it and hold it. I think it warrants a self reflection of the commission and the role of the commission as far as what do we do to help advance and to provide a resource and to support um, in the state. And here's a prime example of a constituent having reached out to us with a amazing effort. Um, but currently we're not we're not structured to be able to respond. But how can we be best structured to be able to respond to major efforts and initiatives like this? Commissioner Trent Davis?
Thank you. I'm just wondering whether larger umbrella organizations such as, let's say, the Urban League or even the Black Entrepreneurs of the Flint Hills would already have the structure in place to, start this on a smaller scale basis. At some point, we need some consortium of like-minded organizations in the state to get together. And we may find that one of those organizations already has a structure that would allow it to do it. And the trust from the public, to contribute money, to a venture like this. And I can only imagine that we would have to clear a major hurdle with our own legislators for us basically to be operating a business under the CAC banner. But there may be an organization already in existence that could start this.
I think when Mr. Graves came, and presented and represented his information and provided some additional documentation, one of the things that I asked him is to provide that statutory support that he saw or perceived existed for what he was asking. And I think it's in many instances he makes a compelling alignment to we do have a statutory release to be able to receive funds, process funds, bring on technical assistance, facilitate conversations, own some of the things that he's recommended. But again, just because though we have the statutory ability to do so, are we currently structured with regards to capacity and buy-in to be able to really advance projects like this? And I think that's the true critical question to ask too, and to consider too as we look at this project and other projects that come before the commission and other possibilities and opportunities. What I heard, I think two of you say in different words is, well, everyone say, is that as proposed, this is not something that we feel we are able to own as proposed. But I did hear conversation about perhaps being a conduit for further conversations or somehow aiding in a further review of where this would be more appropriate. Am I hearing that correctly from Commissioner Davis, both Davises? What was shared? Is Commissioner Trent Davis here? I think he disappeared from my, did we lose Commissioner Trent Davis?
No, he's still here.
Can,
He just raised his hand.
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I still there? Okay. Yeah, well, you summarized it very well. You know, the other potential limitation, if we did have the wherewithal and capacity to handle this, is we will always be somewhat under the direction of the legislature. Now we have the ability to raise money to further our own missions. I don't know whether how far that elastic band stretches. But we would always be subject to some 11th hour law that prohibits state boards from doing such and such and such and such. A privately held external organization, can, within the realm of the law, can pretty much do what it wants to without that oversight.
I think because the statute does speak to, and it pertains to this proposal as well as just in general, because the statute does speak to CAC's ability to raise funds, I think it's really imperative that we get clarity on what that means as far as the allocation of those funds and the ability to retain those funds. The challenge that we face is that we are a commission, a governmental entity that sits under the governor's office and at the purview of the legislature and the governor's office, in the political aspects of things that exist in the state. But we are still a formal entity and a formal body, and there are formal rules, laws, and regulations that apply. That if we were to actively engage in fundraising or receiving of funds, we also have to determine how to best engage in that in a way that protects those funds and our ability to utilize them through the structure that exists in the state, because we are part of the formal structure of the state. But that takes a commitment to do that work, to do that research, to position and to advocate for us utilizing the statutory ability we have to be able to raise funds to do our work, but to be able to know how to do so in a way that's protective of those funds being raised to support the work of this commission.
In a far out example, if we were to go out and secure $5 million and the legislature comes and said, we're getting rid of all these citizens boards. We no longer exist. What happens to that $5 million? We probably would not be allowed to take it with us. So but
I think
go ahead.
what comes into that is the due diligence and wisdom of how do you establish a protection for that, mechanisms, contracts, things that will obligate the state to honor the utilization of the funds. And that's just, again, a exercise of due diligence to determine how to do that, because these are legal entities and legal engines that exist. And it's not just unique to KAAC, it's KAAC. It's with, if you donate to, I don't know, other aspects of state work that raise funds, even departments could be reassigned, but that doesn't mean that their funds just disappear. There are stipulations to that. So, but we're not, I don't think anyone here is an attorney on that, but there are ways, if that is truly of interest and a desire of the commission and of the staff of the commission, to determine how do we move forward in a way that protects our efforts and being able to do amazing projects like what's being proposed, or something else that we may consider that is within our interest, and there are maybe funds available to advance it. So, Commissioner Crystal Davis, were you ready to?
Yes, thank you, Chair Johnson. I was going to say this conversation is timely, I think, because as Executive Director Neil just shared with us the budget, we're under 10 grand left to spend with the grant funds that we received. And you guys approved 1,500, I'm assuming, of that for the town hall. And we're nowhere near that in expense at this time, but still. It was voted on and approved. So, that's not a lot of money. So when we talk about, how we might fundraise to continue, to do the work we're doing, it's pretty timely because, $9,000 won't take us very far. And so I really would be interested in, and, learning, like, and maybe from Stacy, did we apply for that grant as a commission, or maybe you did that, individually, Stacy, for CAC, and has there been other fundraising efforts, in past years where we've been able to fundraise money for CAC and for the events and things that, we want to do with CAC?
If I may, Commissioner Davis,
Mhm.
I want to kind of put a note there, a pin there, because we have 12 minutes for the meeting and still more to go through the agenda, and that really is not direct to what we're talking about with determining how we want to move forward with Mr. Lazone Grays, but definitely want to be able to come back and speak to that and give Stacey the opportunity to address that. But I don't want to miss the business of the meeting due to time, us running out of time for the rest of the business of the meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Um, so is there, are we at a place or a point of any potential motion for how to respond to Mr. Graves having taken the time, effort, and energy to present this to us, to speak to us about it, to come back again and share even additional information? I want to be able to provide a response from the commission on what we are saying how we want to proceed, or at least acknowledge what he submitted. Are there any recommendations for a motion of how to respond? And I'll share again what I heard is perhaps a willingness to, oh, Commissioner Davis, Trent Davis.
Sounded like you were getting ready to, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but while we, cannot ourselves easily push this program through right now, we certainly want to get the conversation started with other organizations that might well be able to bring this to fruition. I mean, it's a very vague promise to help out, but it may be more realistic as far as what our abilities are right now.
Any other thoughts, Commissioner C. Davis or Commissioner Ramsdale? Executive Director Nell, what is your perspective on, because though we are the commission, you're the administrator of the work of the commission. What I'm hearing is a willingness or desire from the commissioners that have shared to continue to have conversations, and to perhaps, what I'm hearing, a facilitative role in those conversations to further explore this. I'm not hearing a willingness or desire to own it as proposed, own the full proposal, but I am hearing an interest from the commission to continue the conversations and perhaps serve in a facilitative role, is how I'm hearing it, in supporting having these conversations. What is your take on that being able to be how a response of the commission?
I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, it would just be an issue of figuring out what that structure would look like.
Are you able to, I'm not sure if Mr. Grays has still been in communication with you or not, but are you able to have conversation with him to convey what the commissioners, I don't think it's necessary to vote on this. This is a conversation. I don't know if we need to vote on it. Is that this is not something that we will be able to own, but we are open to helping to have the conversation on a broader level across the state to identify how it could perhaps be stood up, interest first, and then how it could perhaps be stood up. We could help in facilitating those conversations, maybe hosting some webinar meetings, sending out invitations for those who may be interested in having the conversation and serving a facilitative role of the conversation to see what's next. But again, that goes into, Stacey, your willingness and engagement to facilitate that. Is that something that we will be able to communicate back to Mr. Graves as our response to his extension of a proposal?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay. Okay. I am not feel like that needs a vote. I will do a check with the commission. Is that something that we're wanting to vote, or is that just a perspective of direction? I guess if we're going to direction, we do need to vote on it. Let's vote on it. Okay, is there a motion as far as how we will respond to the proposal that was submitted to us by Mr. Lazone Grace? Commissioner Davis, Trent Davis?
I think the way you had summarized it just a short while ago, we may wish to facilitate it. We're not in a position to own the process at this point. We've never actually had a formal proposal in the form of a motion. I know it's better to have a voted upon, uniform agreement as to how we're going to respond, but I was going to say I was comfortable with just having you as the chair relay the results of our conversation. I don't know if do we need a motion on something that's not been formally proposed as an action? Because up to this point, it's been a discussion point, from a citizen.
Yeah, I
And
think
I'm asking out of ignorance. I don't know the rules on this one.
yeah, we don't have any parliamentarians, and I'm doing the best I can. But what I'm thinking and why I went with let's do a vote is because there is an ask to Stacy to communicate with Mr. Grays on something that a constituent took time out of their schedule to put together research. And I want to make sure that there's a record that we received it, we looked at it, we talked about it, and we determined a direction forward. So that's why I did lean to let's just do a vote where we state that we
I
will
could,
follow. Okay.
yeah, I move that we send a letter to Mr. Lazone Gray, thanking him for his courageous proposal for economic development in the state of Kansas. And that while we are not in a position to own a project like that, we are interested in facilitating conversation to further this, give me a fancy word for idea, proposal.
I like it. Is there a second?
This is
Okay.
Commissioner Ramsdale. I'll second that motion.
Okay, are there any questions? All in favor?
Hang
Aye.
on. I want to make sure that I know what this is, and so I'm gonna read back what he said, so we know what we're voting on, and then I
Yes.
know what I need to do.
Yes.
I started typing one thing and then hang on.
Mhm.
The promotion. That we send a letter to Mr. Grace thanking him for the proposal. But we are not in a position to own, we are not in a position to own the project, but that we are, and then available, amenable, whatever, to facilitating further, but
This, how did you word it, Commissioner Trent Davis?
Hope you weren't going to ask me that. To facilitate further conversation with other organizations that may be able to further the proposal.
Yes.
okay. Okay. Okay, so here's the motion. And by we, Trent, Commissioner Davis, did you say that was going to come from the chair?
Well, it would come from the chair on behalf of the commission. I mean, the chair would be signing it, I'm assuming.
Okay, so that Chair Johnson would send a letter. I would help obviously get that out to Mr. Grace, thanking him for the proposal, but that we are not in a position to own the project. We are open to the idea of facilitating further conversations with other organizations. That's what I've got.
I'm processing through that because I don't want to have misinterpreted. To facilitating further conversations. Let's put it that way. Because clarification in what I am hearing is that Mr. Lazone has this idea that will involve other organizations, what we would do is offer space, venues, platforms to be able to have those conversations and helping facilitating that conversation. And I also heard a clarity of whether it's the chair or the executive director. At one point, and I specifically asked if the chair was in the letter, the facilitation of the conversation and coordination with the zone is, for me, I felt that was the administrative with Stacy. But are we making a distinction? Or Stacy, are you
I think
engaged?
either. Yeah, I didn't know what the usual response would have been. Either or. Yeah, for
Say
me,
the
that
commission,
wasn't yeah,
just the commission as a whole. Okay.
yeah.
Stacy, can you please read back the motion as you have it so we can call for the vote?
Right now, I've got it that Chair Johnson would say, we just say the commission. We will send a letter to Mr. Grace thanking him for the proposal. We are not in a position to own the project. We are open to the idea of facilitating further conversation.
So the motion has been read, that was and clarified that Commissioner Trent Davis had made. Are there any questions? All in favor, aye.
Who seconded?
Oh, is there a second? Who was the second? Commissioner Ramsdale.
Commissioner Ramsdale, second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. That gives us clarity in the process. Okay, we technically have 1 minute. We still have some more items. I'm going to respectfully ask for 15 more minutes max to be able to continue on. But is there anyone that needs to leave? Because we may have to vote. There's some spending asked, so we may need to vote. But if anybody leaves, we can't vote. Okay, let's get moving. New business partnership opportunity with Chase Bank. I had an opportunity to have been contacted by a regional representative and leader within Chase Bank that shared that they are in the process of expanding their footprint within the state of Kansas and are looking for ways to more deeply engage and connect with in a community service capacity within the state. They have offered to bring some of their programming work and efforts to organizations within the state, such as financial literacy trainings and plannings, business development courses and trainings, different types of financial literacy tools and resources that they would bring. And they wanted to get more information about possibly partnering with KAAAC. So I don't have more details. They are currently confirming if they typically partner with 501c3s, but because we are a state entity, they are confirming internally if they would be able to partner with us as a commission. But being mindful of our voted upon priority area of economic empowerment, it just seemed like this would be a really great collaboration, perhaps, if we are an eligible partner with them. So wanted to highlight that there was a document that I had, but I don't think, if I'm thinking back, it was not sent out, but that actually is okay because I haven't heard back yet for the final confirmation of their ability to partner with a governmental commission versus a 501c3. So it may have been a bit premature to have shared the document anyway, but I wanted to just plant that seed of possibility, encourage us to continue to think about partnerships and collaborations to help advance the work that we have prioritized as a commission, but wanted to share that possibility. And I will bring more details as I receive more details back from the point of contact. There is an invitation for us to participate in an upcoming event. Director Nell, can you share these details?
Yeah, that's it. The person from the Brown v. Board Planning Commission sent this invitation over, and I said I would put it on the agenda and put forth that it's there, that they're having an event on Saturday, May 17th. The individual tickets are $60. A table would be, oh, that says no extra cost. I'm not sure that's right, except that it would be $600, right? Like there's no, I think it would be a couple $100 to do if we bought a table. I saw something else where it said tables were $700 and that there would be, I would need to figure that out because I literally copied and pasted this. And sponsorship tables are also available. So tickets have gone on sale and there's the link. Um, it was just one of those things where they reached out and so I put it on. So if you were interested in buying a ticket, that's happening. And the same thing with the Topeka Friends, Family and Friends celebration. These are just requests that came through. So I literally just copied and pasted and put them in the agenda as agenda items.
So just to share some more perspective and also a question, well, actually, the link answers the question. So the 17th is actually on a Sunday. So I
That
wasn't
is
sure
a
if it's
Sunday. Yeah, no, it's
Sunday
a
the
Sunday.
17th.
It's a
Okay, so
Sunday.
okay, so it's on Sunday. And if you haven't seen the advertisements for this, Attorney Ben Crump is going to be a featured guest and speaker, as well as Jay Ivy for a performance, as well. But Attorney Crump is coming in. Um, and I saw he even advertised, I think, on his platform that this was happening. So, um, if you are interested in attending, I don't know. I mean, we don't have enough to make the table, enough of our commission. What is the table? 7, 6? Um, but definitely would love to have representation present and involved and engaged. Um, if you're interested in attending, Stacy, we reach out to you to request the securing of a ticket, or how would that work?
No, if we're not purchasing a ticket, if we're not purchasing a table, it's an individual ticket. So you would reach out as an individual. And I went out to the website. So it is $60 for an individual. A table is $600. So just literally 10 times 60. A sponsor table would be $700, which would include signage and recognition on the program and on socials. So that's the additional, if we were to do an official KAAC sponsor ticket, we would include recognition on signage, programs, and socials. But other than that, it's just $60 a ticket. And so yes, if an individual wants to get a ticket, it would be go to that website and get a ticket.
So it would not be a CAC sponsored facilitated event where we would be representing the Kansas African American Affairs Commission unless we decided to purchase a table. But this goes into our, it's not a, but it goes into our conversation again about our criteria for sponsorship. And if this meets the criteria for sponsorship, do we have that? I mean, is there an interest in sponsorship and ensuring that CAC is noted and represented for this 70th acknowledgement? Is it 70? Is that right? This acknowledgement of Brown versus Board.
54.
I might be
70th
making.
celebration was last year, I believe.
It's not 7.
But the coalition is continuing to move forward under that premise, is my understanding.
Okay. So there is a communication to reach out for consideration of sponsorship. Is there an interest in sponsorship? Again, based on what we have discussed and talked about previously, as far as sponsorship ask.
Now that I'm looking, excuse me, I'm so sorry, but now that I'm poking around on the website, it's indicating that sponsor tables are sold out.
Oh.
I don't know if this shows up if I bring it over.
Okay. Well, that answers that question.
Yeah. So it looks like sponsor tables are sold out. I don't know if are you looking at the thing?
Yep, you can see that.
Yeah.
So since this was an invitation extended to CAC, is there any interest in anyone representing CAC officially, which would be something we would need to vote on because that would be a cost to the organization?
I'm going. I just bought an individual ticket though.
Yeah, I intend to attend as well.
So
I'm thinking
well,
I will probably, is it a Saturday or a Sunday?
It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday.
All right. Yeah, I would like to go. Is there an opportunity for just sponsorship without buying a table? Just a lower price, get your name in the program type?
For what's listed on the website, no.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I'm clear too, because this again goes back to a conversation that we had regarding CAC and our involvement and engagement in sponsorships. and we established a rubric to talk about it, which Stacey, I don't know if you can readily bring that up to share that, but what I'm hearing is interest, and I would be interested as well. I'm hearing is interest from the commissioners to go in an official capacity. Well, but I'm hearing two things. One, it was an invitation that's presented to us as KAAC members, so it's a KAAC invitation. I'm hearing four commissioners and the executive director stated interest in going to an event that KAAC was officially invited to, meaning it's something that KAAC could cover if we are representing KAAC. But I'm also hearing Stacey communicate that it's an individual responsibility if we're going to go and not as a full sponsor of KAAC. So I want to make sure I'm clear on.
No, I didn't indicate it was an individual responsibility if we were going to go. I was indicating that on the website, it said that the sponsorship table was sold out.
Prior to that, you said that it was $60 and you said to go to the website to get the ticket. So that's the part of the conversation I'm referring to, where
Okay,
we individually wanted to go. And then you also shared that you yourself had already bought your ticket individually.
right.
So I'm referring to that part where now you have sitting commissioners who are expressing an interest in going to an event that KAAC was invited to. So what I'm clarifying is if you have sitting commissioners, at least four, well, the four sitting commissioners.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to go search through to see if I can find the rubric.
So, okay.
And then we would go, but we would not be listed in the program as an organization, primarily because those tables are gone and we don't have 10 people going. I was just trying to get us some recognition at the event, but that might not be possible unless they have a separate sponsorship line.
Or even if we're not sponsoring, if KAAC, what I would think and expect is if KAAC is covering, then we would be in our pins, identifying that we are KAAC commissioners, um, making sure that leadership knows that they reached out directly to Stacey. There's a point of contact connected to this apparently that felt enough of us to reach out that we would communicate with them to say we're not able to sponsor, but we do have commissioners that would be present in representation. Um, and let them determine what that means as far as acknowledgement, if any, or just our visual presence there branded as KAAC would suffice. Along that same line, thank you, Stacey. We did establish a rubric because we had so many asks for participation in events like this. Some of which we felt was aligned and some of it that we felt was not necessarily aligned, but we wanted to establish a criteria and a standard. And we haven't looked at this in a while, myself included. So I'm trying to remember exactly what our criteria was and if this falls within our criteria, even for individual tickets. Stacey, do you recall offhand, or can you scroll to that section that determines whether or not this would even be a consideration for even our individual tickets? So mission alignment, do we feel like the Brown versus Board of Education anniversary celebration is aligned with our mission for advocacy, education, economic development, civic engagement, or cultural awareness?
Yes.
Yeah, for education and cultural awareness, if not the others. Yeah.
Does it directly benefit Kansas communities within our state? This is about, I'm gonna add my perspective. I don't know if this
Probably
is a
not.
current, you say no?
Yeah, no would have been my first gut response. Yeah.
Okay. So unless there is a difference of opinion, it stops. I don't see a difference of opinion.
Are you
Uh,
saying, I'm sorry, you're saying what stops? Because there was one no in the rubric, Chair Johnson?
yes, because we said that the request must meet all four.
Oh, okay. Does it directly benefit Kansans or communities within the state? Well, it definitely benefits Kansas. I mean, it's the 72nd anniversary of Brown versus Board in the state of Kansas. The most well recognized law that was passed in the state of Kansas and for African American and BIPOC people is my uh,
Okay.
I
Any
love the
other?
educated and corrected. Thank you.
Okay, so we have two yeses. Is it nonpartisan in nature?
Yes.
And is it
Yes.
accessible? Okay, and it's accessible to the public and clearly documented, hence the website we're
Yes.
looking at. Okay, so how do we determine our process after this, Stacy? We can move forward with the scoring. So whether or not the organization has a clear record, I was trying to look and see who is the host of this event. It's a coalition of organizations. As you scroll down to on that webpage, just to highlight the Kansas Historical Society as a partner.
I can attest to some of that as well. This is Commissioner Ramsdell. There's been several events held throughout my district in particular where the Brown versus Board Coalition has had many events and has gained a lot of following. They've done a lot of education events as well. We had a former commissioner that is a part of this coalition and was actively a part of the coalition before. So I think that they, at least for the last 2 years, particularly with the 70th anniversary event, there's been lots of things held that attest to kind of what we're scoring here in the rubric. And I think they're wanting to continue some of that. That's just my opinion, though. A little biased because it is in my district, our district, Dr. Davis, Crystal Davis, and I.
So there's a confirmation it's a legitimate organization. It has it's a legitimate organization with standing. So again, the intention of this rubric was to personally take some time to go through it. I don't know how to more quickly expedite this process with 1 minute left. But if people want to give a number, add it up, determine if it meets the criteria, and if it does, then if there's a request to purchase a ticket, that can be shared with Stacy to do so, or we can be given instructions to do so. If it doesn't, then we move on. If you want to go, you go on your own accord and on your own dime. So is there a recommendation for how to score this? And if to expedite this, you can just give straight down, and if we agree, we agree. If we disagree, we can say we disagree. Stacey, can
Okay,
you make
this
it
is
larger?
Pardon?
Can you make it larger?
There's gotta be a way.
419, 169, 248.
Oh, here we go.
oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so evidence of engagement, does someone want to give a number?
So 20.
I would say 70%. Wait a minute, my numbers aren't, is there a sixth one on there? My numbers aren't. Okay, let me add it up again there.
Oh, there's the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Collaborate.
20, 20, 13, 10, and 5.
Ah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm at 80%.
Mhm. This is Commissioner Davis. I'm going to say 85% is how I would score the rubric according to the what we're discussing, and this being supported by CAAC for CAAC commissioners to attend the engagement. Thank you.
I can go along with that.
Okay, if you want to make a motion, we can take a motion and vote on what direction to go. Anybody have a motion for whether or not to attend officially as CAAC representatives and
Mm.
for the cost of the ticket to be covered by CAAC?
This is Commissioner Davis, and I move that we attend the 72nd Board versus Brown versus Board Education anniversary celebration as CAAC, representing as CAAC, and be CAAC supported for the $60 for each of our tickets to attend. in May.
Second.
Then move to second. Are you ready for the question?
One
All
quick question that has nothing to do with the vote, but if we were going to take a spouse or other friends, I don't know how the tickets are done, general with seating or assigned seating. Is it typically easier for us to buy a ticket and then just submit the request for our own personal reimbursement? Just so funds don't get commingle. I may be complicating it, but would KAAC be buying 4 tickets and distributing them, or would we each buy a ticket individually and submit for reimbursement?
um, I would look to Stacy, but we can still do the vote because this vote
Okay,
still
true.
will
Right,
order whether
that's
or not.
true. It doesn't really affect the vote. That's true.
Okay.
I'm
All in
sorry.
favor? Aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? It's been passed.
I,
Stacy, how can you let us know how to best acquire the tickets, especially as Commissioner Trent Davis has shared, if we'll be bringing a guest, what would be the best process for acquiring the tickets, whether a reimbursement or whether the commission would purchase those for us? If you could let us know the process.
Um,
Because I don't want you, because you might have to think and process through it and even here, because if it's not assigned table seating, first, it won't matter.
it
well,
If
won't
it is,
matter.
given, I
Right.
mean, here's what I can say, because I've already, like I said, I've already bought an individual ticket. And when you purchase the ticket, there is a space where you can request to sit with somebody. So if that's the case, then yes.
yes,
I don't
what?
know how, on their end, I don't know how they're gonna get everything reconciled, but on our end, there's a place where you go in and indicate there's like a questionnaire of dietary restrictions, and like if there's a table, who is at the table. So they're taking into consideration where people are sitting. I don't know how they're handling what a person would type in, but yes, there would be a place to type in
And
the name.
we can find out Monday or Tuesday, 'cause we are short on time. I mean, it won't affect us right the second, Megan.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for presenting that, and we'll move forward with our participation. There is the Juneteenth, the Topeka
I
family
do
Juneteenth.
have, I'm sorry, I do have a question in terms of how many tickets how many tickets are you asking CAC to cover? And I mean, honestly, you guys can vote to say that you'll cover your spouses. I mean, it's money that we have to spend anyway, but I just need to know how many tickets.
I would
It's
say
the
4.
4?
Well,
yes.
and Stacy's 5 tickets.
Mine's already bought.
You can be out of CAC funds or your personal.
Personal,
So we should reimburse you for your ticket,
not a worry.
unless you don't want to sit with us.
So there is a willingness and an openness to reimburse Stacy for the tickets, if she's interested in that. But
Right.
she may not be. But as a commission, we are open for a reimbursement of the cost of her ticket. And she may not be going as CAC, so she may be going in a different capacity. But we are open to reimbursements. Okay. Moving to the Topeka Family and Friends Juneteenth celebration. Stacy, do you want to update? Okay, this is a request as well.
Just there's not like an event necessarily that they're inviting to. I think they're just they're fundraising for the things that they are trying to plan.
Okay, so this goes back to, and fellow commissioners, again, I try to be mindful of what has been expressed as challenges or concerns with the commission, with how the commission does business of the commission. This is the first time since having started this rubric policy that we've been tasked with having to review funding requests. We're past time again, even the extended time. But this seems like a wonky process to me this way. I think because this again will require going back through the rubric, determining an assessment of percentage, determining if we would want to move forward or not. So we can pull the rubric back up. and also think through if this is the process that we want to do every time we have a funding request.
Guess is that this is a slippery slope, considering there are probably 10 Juneteenth celebrations in the state. And just looking at that rubric, other than showing we're visible, it
Stacey, can you bring the rubric back up, please?
I'm not sure why I closed it. I'm like, that was dumb. But hang on a second, it's opening. My computer's just moving slowly.
to rush you, but I am going to have to get off in about 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, and this may potentially be a vote, so the first group, the first question was, does it meet our mission, or is the organization clear record? Will we check for mission alignment? In the same process that was followed for the ask pertaining to the Brown versus Board commemoration. We do the same approach of within your space, what percentage do you find this to be at? And we can do, and then somebody can raise a vote.
I mean, I think there's a couple of things that are going through my brain just in terms of procedure. One, we could seemingly set a meeting and say that, first of all, that our meetings are going to go 2 hours. That way people can allot time, since we seem to be steadily going over an hour consistently. Two, we could, because to Dr. Davis's point, there are a lot of Juneteenth around. So I don't know. That's just something to consider, honestly, because if you guys vote to do it, that's yay or nay. As opposed to one Brown v. Board, they have an event, they have a thing, they have a day, they have a time. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I just don't know. I don't know if this is the way we want to approach it. I love the idea of a rubric. I love the idea of the commission deciding, but yeah, I agree that this is kind of a lengthy process. So I don't know if it's an issue of revising the process. Because I think there needs to be a process that's not just the executive director decides how the money's going to go. But I don't know what the process is. I love that there needs to be a process. I just don't know. And I know Dr. Trent Davis has been trying to log off for the past 15 minutes, and so
Yeah. So the rubric in and of its part of the reason our meetings go long is so much commentary on process. So we have a process, we have a rubric, but what I was thinking is maybe if we know we're having funding, send it out in advance so we can have already thought through and gone through this process to do it. But right now, for the sake of expediting time, what worked quickly to get us to the point of vote was someone gave their percentage and then we agree yay or nay. So if someone wants to do that, that could be a quick way to expedite when we get these. We have our rubric. Stacey, you can know we're going to vote on spending money. Let's have the rubric ready. And then somebody do your numbers, quotes, pose it to the body, and we vote on it. I think that's a valid point of I don't want to just do a blanket anything with Juneteenth we don't vote on. What's the point of having gone through the process and the work of doing the rubric if we just blanket say what we're not going to even consider? So is there a Commissioner Crystal Davis?
Have and I know we just see what was put in the minutes, but does the request clearly demonstrate transparency of funds and a reasonable cost relative to impact? So we were giving 250 to 500 to be able to have our name listed. I'm sorry, I don't remember what the agenda said.
yeah,
It
I'm trying to
was
pull it.
we want to explore whether a contribution of $250 to $500 to Topeka Family and Friends might be something the organization would consider. It would be a meaningful show of investment in our community's heritage and continued celebration. So no, not
Okay.
funding to a direct, just a general
Yeah.
contribution for the
Okay.
organization.
Okay. So on that part of financial stewardship on the rubric for me would be 0. So I can add the numbers. Um, so my numbers are coming up at 65.
Okay. Per the rubric, which I don't have in front of me, it had to be above a certain amount, and I do not recall what that was.
And I'm sorry, further correction of the numbers is at 55%.
55. Okay.
Yes.
And I can't find it. Where's Stacy? Stacy,
Yeah,
what
of
is that
course,
trigger?
my computer is just
Okay.
not cooperating. It's like I'm like, no, this screen. I want this screen up. That's great.
Um, is there anyone at 55%? Is there a recommendation for where is, and I'm sorry, I can't find my files for the rubric myself. There it is. Okay, if you scroll down, doesn't it say somewhere it has to exceed so many points? Oh, there, what, wait. So you said 55, that gives a recommendation of non-financial support. So there's no need to vote because our rubric and process has dictated what's supposed to happen. And for the previous one, I think we were at 85. It recommends that funds are available. Funds are available. So we are meeting standard criteria. There will be no need to vote. Next item are the announcements about the town hall and then adjournment. Commissioner Davis, do you want to share anything further on the town hall outside the that's happening?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you. Yeah. And of course, we'll be providing a brief and overview and all the things once it's done back to the commission.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second? I know there is a second.
Commissioner Ramslow, second that motion.
All right, it's been moved to second. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed?
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye
thank you
bye.
all. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy.